Okay, sorry, I did not ignore you, I swear. I'm just here, vibing in my room and ready to bring you guys another video for the channel. I know you were so excited for this. Me too. But yeah, as you can see, it's raining outside. So I think it's not a bad idea to make a video in my house to talk a little bit with you guys. I just wanted to get a little bit closer with you guys and tell you about my shock, my cultural shock when I arrived in the Philippines, okay? Because, you know, I came directly from Spain. Maybe some of you don't know it, but yeah, I am from Spain, guys. And to come to the Philippines was a very big cultural shock, you know? Europe, Asia, different worlds. So be ready for my 10 things, well, 10 things that shocked me actually from the Philippines that are different from Europe. I hope you like it. Okay, mahal kita if you're watching this, and let's go with the top. The first thing that shocked me really from the Philippines when I arrived is the thing that exists, the tricycles and the jeepneys. I mean, I think that's why it's one of the things that the tourists want to try when they come in the Philippines, and in the Europe it's impossible to find something like that. For the people who don't know it, guys, who don't know nothing about the Philippines and this wonderful country, the tricycles and the jeepneys are one of the most common and used way of transport in the province. I think in the cities like Manila and things like that, it's a little bit more complicated to find tricycles or jeepneys. You can, of course, but in the provinces you can find it more. Tricycles are sort of a motorbike that has added like a little seat apart, okay? It's just put it there, and they can go, I think, my mom told me, she's Filipino, of course. She told me that in those type of vehicles they can go like 5 persons, 6 persons, I think. I don't know if that's legal anymore right now, but before the 2020, I think you could go with 5 people in there. And with the jeepneys, a lot more, you know. The jeepneys are, guys, like provincial buses. I think that's how they call the jeepneys here. Staying in there can be a little bit stressful and going for some people till the jeepney is not full at the point that there cannot be more people in there anymore. It's gonna explode. Well, until that point, the jeepney driver is gonna say, oh, jeepney, or the place where the jeepney is going is calling people every time. So until the jeepney is not full, they are not gonna stop calling people, and it's a little bit stressing actually for the foreigners in special. I think for the locals, they are more used to that. For me, the first time, it was like, okay, there's so much space. I think the seat was very long, and you know, the measure of the jeepney was good. For me, I am tall, I'm like 6'2", guys, for the people who don't know it. And I was like, oh, okay. And we were like 5 minutes in the jeepney, and I had a lot of space, and suddenly like 5 people, 6 people went in a row inside the jeepney, and yeah, it filled up so quickly. I was like, for having a lot of space, I was like in a little hole in there. But yeah, jeepneys are a must do, like a must try, sorry, for the people who visit the Philippines for the first time. Actually, they are very fun. Instead of being a little bit stressful as well for the foreigners, but they're pretty fun, guys. If you didn't try never the jeepneys or the tricycles, you should, guys, if you didn't try it never. Another thing that I must say about the jeepneys that seem very curious for me actually is that people is getting on the jeep to stay like 2 minutes and later get off. Like, you could go that distance walking 10 minutes, but the Filipinos prefer to take the jeepney, to go 2 minutes and pay, I think the minimum fee is 11 pesos. That it's nothing, okay? It's just cents. The Philippines people, well, some foreigners as well, prefer to take the jeepney to ride 2 minutes, and later you can get off the jeep and walk to your destiny, but a little bit tamad of our part. And another thing that I don't like from jeepneys, I mean, the first time that I ride a jeepney, I was victim of this. I was like so mad, because when I entered the jeep, it was like empty, no people. And then I went to the front, I mean next to the driver, and later, as I told you guys, the people was starting to get on the jeep, everything was starting to fill up. I noticed that the people was like giving me money to give it to the driver. I mean, the people for the bottom were, of course, it's too long the jeepney, they can't go there and give the money to the driver. So they're making like a line, they're passing the money to the driver. And it's a little bit annoying I mean, if you are the first one in the line to receiving money from every single person that gets on the jeep, it's like, go by yourself and give the money to him, you know? No, I'm just kidding, of course, but you have to be kind and give the money to the driver always. That's not a problem, but if you can, this is an advice, if you can, go to the bottom of the jeep, okay, and stay there, because that's the only way the people is not gonna give you the money for giving it to the driver. So yeah, every time now and my family we're getting on a jeep, immediately go to the bottom of the jeep, and it's like this, you know. My number 2 on the list is the workers in malls, stores, and fast food chains. And you could tell me,
Bro, what is your problem with the workers in the Philippines?
and I will tell you, basically I don't have any problem with them, but it's a little bit weird. I saw also in Qatar, because you know I made a stop when I was flying to the Philippines. I stopped in Qatar for some hours, and I saw that in every corner of the airport there was a guy for helping you. I mean, if you need to go somewhere or to find a bathroom, whatever, there were a guy in every corner. And I found that like really good in the first moment. I saw that in Qatar. I'm not talking about the Philippines. It was kind of strange at the same time, because you know it's good to have assistance every time you need it, but when you go to the bathroom, I don't need that assistance that much. I don't know to speak. Actually, I went to the bathroom. I remember I went to the bathroom in the airport and it was empty. I mean, there were no people, but there were 2 guys, one with a mop and another one was by his side, and they were like waiting for someone to go there to clean up. I appreciate that, but I don't appreciate that if I want to take a they to stay in my door waiting for me to finish. I mean, imagine the scene, guys. I was in the bathroom, total silence, and I was taking a imagine the sound, and the guy was at the door like, did you finish? And I was, what? Out of control. Out of control. The most embarrassing experience I had in my life. When you had that level of assistance and a lot of persons working in something, I think it's kind of normal in some kind of way, but I saw the same in the Philippines. Not at that level, but I saw like, if you enter, for example, a Jollibee, as I said, a fast food chain, there's a man who's opening the door every time you want to exit or to enter the restaurant. I mean, that's something good. I don't have nothing with that. But once you enter, you find like 3 guys in the corner that have the uniform of Jollibee, but they are not doing nothing. They are staying like that in the court. There you have like three guys with mops cleaning the floor, everything good, but you have another 3 in the corner like that. And if you want to order, I mean, in Europe, it's normal if you enter a McDonald's or whatever, you have there 1 person to take your order, okay? And the rest of the people is working in the kitchen and everything normal. But 1 person is taking your order. But man, in the Philippines, I went to Chowking, alright? Forgot the Jollibee. I went to a Chowking and I was in the line waiting for ordering my food, and one girl approached me. She was like dressed in a Chinese way, like a Chinese dress, something like that. She told me, what are you gonna order? And I said, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know for the moment. The girl told me, okay, think about it and tell me what are you gonna order, because I'm gonna write it down in a paper and I give it to you. And I said, okay. And I said, okay, I will take 1 rice, 1 spring roll, I guess. The woman said, yeah. It's, tell me. And when I finished, I mean, like, she gave me the paper and was like, oh, okay, so I don't have to say nothing in the, you know, in front of there, you have to order nothing. And when I arrived, the woman said, okay, tell me what you need. And I said, okay, this. And the woman approached me again, the one that was dressed up like a Chinese woman, and told me, no, give the paper that I give you, no? Your work is to me to not say nothing to the woman that is taking the order and give the paper and nothing. I mean, her work was only that. For me to don't even speak to the woman. I don't need to speak to nobody because I have the paper. And I was like, and there where the people is taking the order as well, there are like 4 or 5 persons for taking your order. I mean, like, I was taking the order one day in Jollibee. There was 1 guy there taking my order, and there were 2 girls behind him watching me while I was like saying what I want to eat. And I was like, okay, and why are you there? You know? But well, I guess it's like that in the Philippines. It's nothing bad. I don't say it's like, whoa, the worst service in the world. No, I just find it curious. But yeah, instead the service is so effective since there's a lot of people working in the same thing. But yeah, the service is so effective. I guess they clean faster. The service is they taking your notes and they cooking your food faster. I think it's something good, but I find it curious and was a cultural shock for me in the Philippines. Top 3 is that the Filipinos don't usually eat the knife for eating in general. I mean, you usually in Europe use the knife for cutting meat. Basically for everything you need the knife. You usually go with fork and knife, but no, in the Philippines it's not like that. In the Philippines you usually eat even the meat with spoon and fork, or as I would say in Tagalog, tinidor and cuchara. So yeah, actually I find it very curious when I've arrived in the Philippines. I thought, cause you know in Spain my mother is Filipina and had some Filipina friends as well, and I saw that these people were eating with cuchara and tenedor. They were not using fork, only sometimes, only a few moments in their lives, but most of the time they are using the cuchara. And I was like, well, maybe these are their preferences. I mean, like they like to eat with those things, and I said, okay, that's not a problem. But when I arrived in the Philippines, I was like, why all the people is not using a fork for cutting the meat? I saw the people like with the fork and the spoon like trying to cut the meat, and I was like, what? Just imagine, guys. I mean, since I was here in the Philippines, I arrived the first time in Cebu. Okay, I stayed in Cebu like for 1 month, and the first restaurant I went was like, I think the restaurant is named the Top of Cebu, I think. You have a video in the channel up there, guys, if you want to see it. I think it's in Spanish, the video, but well, you can see it. The first time that this happened to me was like, we ordered a crispy pata, I think is the name of the dish. You know, a very delicious Filipino dish. Just I think it's pig, it's baboy, it's the leg of that, and it's crispy outside and very juicy and tender inside. But when we ordered it, the guy who was taking our order just bring some tinidor and cucharas. I was looking at him like, I think something's missing, right? And the guys, I said like, oh yeah, sorry, the knives, I forgot. And he brought us the knives, but instead, if you don't say nothing, they are just leaving you like that, like with a fork and a spoon. But well, now guys, since I have 1 year here in the Philippines, I got used to use the fork and the spoon. Number 4 on the list is, for me, the chaotic traffic in the Philippines. Honestly, I didn't thought that the traffic was gonna be like this. You know, in Manila instead it's more chaotic than in the province, but yeah, you understand what I want to say. From Cebu, we just noticed a little bit how the traffic is. But well, guys, let me tell you a little story of how we just understood how the traffic of the Philippines works and how chaotic it is. I mean, imagine we wanted to take our first motor ride here in the Philippines, so we bought for the first time our Honda Click 125. I think it's one of the most famous motorbikes here. The first day that we could brought it home, we went to Manila. I mean, imagine, I live in Calamba, 1.5 hours away from the capital. We never drove a motorbike in our life, okay? My father has the driver license, I don't. My father drove to Manila, but yeah, we never touched a motorbike, always by car. The first time that we tried to went there, like, we were driving in almost in circles, man. It was just crazy. We were going like the best we could until we reached the national highway. That's the only way I think you could go to Manila, or the principal way, I don't really know. But yeah, it was so funny because we were driving, like going like that, and all the motorbikes and the cars were taking distance of us because we were taking half of the road. You know, it's just crazy. And we wanted to reach BGC because my mother said it was like the the fanciest place in Manila. It was the best of the best, and we wanted to go there. The only problem is that, well, the problem comes after, because, well, when we arrived it was all good, the traffic was not that bad because we went there in the morning. So yeah, we arrived to Venice Grand Canal Mall. We were just roaming around the zone, we were exploring the shopping mall, and everything was good. At that point, it was unbelievable. The problem comes later because it went night. For the people who don't know it, in the Philippines it gets night very early. I think at 6:30 p.m. it's already night out there. So yeah, that's another cultural shock that I have, but that's not the point. The point is that when it's night and it's that late in Manila, well, late, it's 7 p.m. and this type of hours, there's a traffic that seems like hell, brother. The worst traffic I saw in my life. I'm not exaggerating. I'm a guy who all his life lived in Spain, and in Madrid there's also chaotic traffic, but not at that level, man. It was our first time driving the motorbike, and imagine if we are at 7 p.m. in Manila roads, guys. I mean, out of my mind. My father was trying his best. I mean, we were so tired and there were a lot of motorbikes. All the road was only motorbikes. There were no cars. And we were going like that again with not equilibrium, and successfully we did it. We reached home so tired and raining as well, and we could see how the traffic in Manila really is. Yeah, the traffic in the Philippines is one of the things that shocked me here. The fifth thing that shocked me here in the Philippines is that, guys, the people use here a lot the word po. That po, for the people who don't know it, means that you show some kind of respect to the other person. In Europe or in America or everywhere in the world, they usually use another type of words in a formal way to show respect to the people. For example, in Spanish, you could say to your friend, tú eres una persona muy guapa. But that's a casual way. But in a formal way, you would say, usted es una persona muy bella or muy guapa, the same word. But you use usted, you know, different words for showing respect. But in the Philippines, it's not like that. In the Philippines, when you want to show respect to someone, you say po at the end of each sentence. For example, you want to say to your friend, hey, how are you? You say, kumusta po? If it's older than you, or you want to show respect because, you know, but you say kumusta po, or to your relatives or wherever, to all the people. I was talking in English the first time I arrived in the Philippines. I didn't know nothing about Tagalog, but it's just crazy to hear those locals speaking to each other. They were like, oh, kumusta po? Okay, mama, you kumusta po? Did you eat something po? No po, I didn't eat something po. Oh, bakit po? I don't know po. Po. Well, it was a little bit like that. Another thing that shocked me here in the Philippines is the fact that every Filipino that saw a foreigner in the Philippines is gonna say, hello Joe, even though you are not American. Honestly, this type of things happened to me a couple times. These things were said by young people. I think the youngsters say these things more to the foreigners than the adult people. But man, it was like so strange for me because, you know, I'm Spanish. I don't have nothing related with American. And when a Filipino guy saw me, he was like, afam, you're Americano. And I was like, what are you saying about, bro? At the day of today, I don't really know what is AFAM, but if you know, you could leave me in the comments. Honestly, the first time that this happened to me, the guy was like, hey Joe, and I was like, who is Joe? But well, I think it's kind of normal. I think there's a lot of the US influence in the Filipinos, in the youngsters, more than another thing. But it's not something that bothers me or something like that. It's just funny, and every time a guy who don't know me saw me in the street, he was like, hey Joe, how are you? And I say, oh, kumusta? And he said, oh, Tagalog, ah? And I said, oh, yes, and like that. Another thing that seems very curious for me and shocked me the first time that I arrived here in the Philippines was the fact that when you enter a shopping mall, for example, you want to enter SM or Robinsons or this type of shopping malls here in the Philippines that are very famous, always you have to open your backpack. You have to show the backpack to the guard of the door. I think, well, I guess it's for security, but I don't really know what happened in the Philippines that you have to show what you have in your backpack every time you enter. I mean, I enter the shopping mall and I show my backpack and I say, oh, okay, it's nice. I get out and I go to another way because I want to explore more shops. I went to another entrance, and when I enter again, I have to show my backpack. And I was like, I don't know if there was an incident of bombs or with guns or something like that inside the malls for this security to be like this. I don't really know, guys. I'm a little bit ignorant in that term, but you could clear me up in the comments. I would like to know it. It seems very curious. It's not something that, I don't matter to show my backpack to the guard, not a problem, but it was curious the first time that I arrived in the Philippines. And if you know more things about it, you could clear me up a little bit. Another thing that shocked me, guys, and liked me in the best way is that the Filipinos use Spanish numbers. I mean, I heard some Filipinos counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, and my brain was like when you come to a country and you saw that they can speak some words or some part of your language, you're like, what a blessing, man. If you didn't know it, guys, the Spaniards conquered the Philippines 300 years ago. I don't really know for how many years the Spaniards stayed here. Because of them, there's a big area in Manila called Intramuros, and they left a lot of history, a lot of culture in the language. I think in gastronomy, well, in gastronomy, I don't really know exactly, but in culture, and in the language, yes. I think the national hero of the Philippines is called Jose Rizal. Fought with the Spaniards to get them out of the Philippines. He was not a lapu-lapu, okay? He just fought with his words. He got the independence of the Philippines. And I think Jose Rizal could really read and write in Spanish. Because, you know, in Calamba City, in my hometown here in the Philippines, there's the museum where there were the house of Jose Rizal. And I was there watching a little bit, you know, and I saw that the books of Jose Rizal are wrote in Spanish. I saw the Filipinos like, oh yeah, oh, interesting. I could understand a little bit, well, not a little bit, completely. I could understand it. And he wrote in Spanish, man. It's something very unique and curious. I didn't know it because of the Spaniards. In the Philippines, you could see the people that count in Spanish. They have more influence from the Spaniards than I thought. But yes, my friend, now we continue with the top 9 or ocho. I don't remember. Let's go ahead. And as the numbers are quite curious, the words are curious as well and very awesome. In the Philippines, the people use Spanish numbers, but they use some Spanish words as well. They are wrote in a different way, obviously, but the sound and the meaning is just the same. I give you some examples. For example, the word calvo in Spanish is wrote with a letter C and a letter V, okay? It's calvo. But in the Philippines, it's with a K and a B, but means the same, okay? That you are bald. But it's curious. It's just like that with many words. I guess like vaso, ventana, tenedor, cuchara, as I said before. Many more. I don't really remember. Información. Información is data, okay? It's information. In Spanish and in the Philippines. Información. Cobre cama, I think it's like bed sheets here in the Philippines. And in Spanish it's the same. It's cubre camas. So yeah. It's very cool. There are many words that are almost the same like in Spanish. Comparing the Spanish word with the Tagalog word, they are like wrote in the opposite way. Like the opposite of the C is the K, the opposite of the V is the B, and the opposite of the P is the F. That's why in Spain we call the Philippines Filipinas with F, but here they call it Pilipinas. And that's very nice. And the last thing that I have to tell you guys is that almost everybody here can speak in English. That's very nice. That's very cool because in Europe, for example, in my home country, if you travel to Spain, very hard to find a youngster or an adult who can speak fluently in English. Of course you can, but it's not that usual as here in the Philippines. In the Philippines, my relatives that are Filipinos told me that the babies are just able to speak a little bit. They show them in English. I mean, like they show them, my name is Kobe, my name is, I don't know. And yeah, just like that. They show them English words instead of Tagalog as well. But it's like Taglish, you know what I mean? So that's very nice and a very good point for the Philippines because it's not a big mess to communicate with the people. You don't have to struggle too much to say what you want or to share your ideas with someone. I think in Europe it's even harder to speak in English with a local guy. You know, for example, in the Philippines, if you go in the province, you could find someone that can speak in English. Of course, there are people that only speak Tagalog, but most of them could speak in English. In Spain, if you go to a province, it's a little bit hard to find someone who speaks in English. But yeah, it depends, of course, of the language there, of the zone, of the country. It depends a lot of things. So well, my friends, thank you so much for seeing the video. Hope you liked it so much. We say thank you to you guys. And if you want more things like this, like how is my life in the Philippines, how was the trip to get to the Philippines, how it was the life in Cebu, because I uploaded 2 or 3 videos of Cebu, but I could not record what I wanted to record and post it. So if you are curious, guys, just leave a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna bring you some other video talking about how was my experience in Cebu and more things about my life in the Philippines. So yeah, thank you so much, and we are gonna see you in the next. Thank you, family. Goodbye.